Beast was once beloved as one of the founding X-Men. His intelligence, his moral compass, his humor, these defined Hank McCoy. When Krakoa rose, he became more than a mutant scientist. He was a pillar in creating resurrection, nationhood, and the science that underpinned mutant sovereignty. The idea was utopian, mutants protected by their biology, no longer fragile, no longer fearing death. Marvel built Krakoa around that promise. Hank McCoy's scientific remit grew steadily. As risks to mutantkind multiplied, terrorist threats, anti-mutant violence, global politics, he felt the pressure of keeping Krakoa safe. In his own mind, pragmatic necessities crept into ethical compromises. Surveillance systems, alien threats, biological dangers. The stories show Hank rationalizing experiments and programs in secret, arguing that transparency could compromise safety. The voice of fear, the logic of security, began taking a larger place in his thoughts. The inciting shift came when Wolverine, Logan, discovered that Beast had gone far beyond research. Hank had not only tutored Wolverine for covert operations, but manipulated events so that Logan was a weapon. Wolverine #30 reveals the turning point, where Beast's control over Logan is challenged and turned back on him. The clash is not merely physical, it is ethical. Wolverine represents everything Beast once believed in: loyalty, sacrifice, dignity. Beast had been using Logan as a tool. Beast prepared contingency plans. He used Krakoa's resurrection core, kept secret backups, archived DNA, bone templates. Death was no longer final. And for Beast it became something to plan against, something controllable. So when Wolverine strikes and appears to kill him, Hank had anticipated that death is reversible under Krakoa's technology. The backup beasts, off-world or off-record, were assets. Hank McCoy re-emerged as Beast Prime, the centralized mind of a biological strategy. He created an army of Wolverine clones, feral but controlled, with collars to enforce obedience. He also created Beast clones, analytical minds, backup intelligence, parallel processors for his reasoning. These clones were tools, they were instruments, they were expendable. Some Beast clones were isolated, underlit labs kept in stasis or in minimal sensory environments so they could process data, run predictions. When a group of Beast duplicates began to show signs of dissent, or even just deviation, Hank's response was execution by his own Wolverines. Not a debate, not mercy, a kill order. The clones of Wolverine were similarly harsh, expected to obey without question, because Beast saw threats everywhere: potential betrayal, mutation instability, exposure. The clone program was a blunt weapon. Program, deploy, discard. Beast's stronghold, called the Point, served as more than a lab. It functioned as an offensive fortress. Systems inside it attacked Krakoa's surveillance infrastructure. It threatened to control resurrection protocols and backup labs. The Point was where Beast's biological and scientific power was concentrated. X-Force and Wolverine realized the magnitude of what Hank had become. The rescue or retaliation was not just a mission, it meant dismantling loopholes entwined in Krakoa's resurrection tech, secrets lying in archived DNA, hidden labs. In Wolverine #31 and subsequent issues, the Point was infiltrated. The power to control clone banks was cut. Systems that enabled Beast's backup resurrection that were outside official oversight were destroyed. The cost was real. Collateral biological damage, destroyed labs, many Beast clones killed, many Wolverine clones annihilated. Hank was defeated physically and stripped of control of his clandestine programs. But the story stopped short of easy redemption. What remained were questions. What happens when your safety depends on secrets? When resurrection becomes a weapon? When those you love become potential threats? What this arc forces readers to ask: is a society built on biotechnology still ethical when its defenders exploit that technology in secret? What do you sacrifice for security? When Beast murdered or had murdered some of his own clones, he didn't just cross a moral boundary. He broke faith with everything Krakoa promised: transparency, mutant equality, resurrection for all. In the end, Beast's fall is tragic because it was foreseeable. His tools were those of a hero: science, intellect, love of mutantkind. But those tools, in the absence of accountability, in the grip of fear, become tyranny. Beast's turn from savior of mutants to monster of his own making is a cautionary tale about power, cloning, and the price of guarding the future through secrecy.